have a confession to make. Last week, I ate cake at a child's birthday, and then I drank a glass of wine at a girls' night a couple of days later. I never tracked a single thing. I never started over on Monday. And all of those days, I still woke up feeling incredible, even with twins who don't sleep through the night and a 3-year-old. That is not because I have great genes. I promise you it's not. It's because 10 years ago at 30, I had the hormones of a post-menopausal woman, and I gained 25 pounds in 3 months while eating less than I ever have. I'm Michele Scarlet, and this is the Body Freedom Podcast. And today, I'm telling you the whole story of how I got from there to here, because the freedom I live now is not luck. It is a road. And today, I'm handing you the map. Let me take you back to who I actually was. On the outside, I projected confidence. I was the woman who had it together, but underneath, I was insecure. And I would have never shown anybody that. I struggled with anxious attachment, running my relationships, my friendships, even my business decisions. I had zero boundaries. I said yes to everything. Every cell in my body wanted to say no. I did not trust myself. I did not trust my body. And I thought all of those things were just my personality and my body. Let me tell you about my body. I would wake up with a flat stomach, and the second anything went into my mouth, I would just start to bloat. By the end of the day, I looked 4 months pregnant. I wore loose shirts in the afternoon to hide it. I was so desperate to outrun the bloating that I started fasting in the morning because I felt like I was just trying to push the bloat off until a little bit later. I started leaning toward constipation, or like never quite a complete bowel movement. Sorry for the TMI, which really ultimately constipation just fed this whole cycle. And before you say it, yes, I was doing all the things. Okay. I had the added fiber. I took the magnesium at night, 3 liters of water a day, all of the things I would have told somebody to do if they were struggling with constipation, but none of it changed my digestive system. And it just lived in my head. So not in a way that spiraled me every day, but in a way that was just like, it's always there, just kind of taking up space rent-free. Would I be able to use the bathroom before an event that day or that night? Would I be uncomfortable at a backyard barbecue? What would they serve at a wedding that I couldn't control? That low hum of like worry every single day. And I genuinely thought that was normal. I thought everybody just kind of lived like that. My sleep was kind of hit or miss. And if you know me, you know that that is a crisis because sleep is my non-negotiable and always has been. Here's the part that really breaks me when I think back about it now. I was eating the fewest calories I could and still call it healthy. I was moving my body every single day. I was tracking every macro, and the scale just kept climbing. By the time I found real help, I was up 25 pounds in 3 months while literally doing everything I had ever learned about fat loss. So I did what you do. I went to my doctor. She looked at me and actually said, "You look good with a little meat on your bones." Ugh. She told me I was just stressed. She offered me anti-anxiety meds. Oh, and at 30 years old, my cholesterol was trending high. She wanted to put me on a statin, but that's an episode for another day. I walked into her office with a screaming body, and I walked out with a compliment, a shrug, and a prescription pad. I literally sat in my car and cried. Not an ugly cry, but a cry that I might not ever feel better. So being the person that I am, the fixer that I am, I went in the other direction. I went to see a naturopath, paid out of pocket, and he told me I had adrenal fatigue, handed me some supplements and told me that this would take care of it and it would never come back. And I wanted so badly to believe him, but it didn't hold because here's what I know now that I didn't know then. Everybody gave me a piece of the whole picture. Nobody gave me the whole picture. One person said stress. One person saw it as a label. Nobody looked at the whole system. And I was walking around with a dark cloud over me, not truly depressed, but nowhere near the happiest I could be. I was like slowly accepting or resigning myself that this is just going to be the way it was. I was aging and this was a glimpse into the rest of my life. And then came the night that changed everything. One night, 3 a.m., I was laying awake again, unhappy, uncomfortable. I was doom scrolling on my phone and I stumbled onto something about functional lab testing, about how it looks at the body completely as one whole system. And that's different than standard panel that your doctor runs right before they tell you everything looks normal, right? And something in me brightened up because for the first time, somebody on a website was describing the gap that I had been falling through for a number of years. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't covered by my extended healthcare insurance. It was a real leap of faith that it was even going to show me anything that I could act on. And I woke up my husband and I said, I need to do this. I need to run these labs. I need to figure out what's wrong with me. And we made a decision together. That night, I want you to really hear, we did not look at it as an expense. We looked at it as an investment in my health, in our future, and in the children we hadn't even had yet. All in, my health journey up until that point had already cost me $20,000. And when I tell you I would pay 10 times more when I realized what I found on the functional lab tests, I am telling you the truth. All the dysfunction my doctor never saw. What my doctor chalked up to as anxiety or stress. Let me tell you something. Doctors are not trained to see dysfunction. They are only trained to diagnose disease. And I did not have any disease yet, but I will tell you with my whole heart, I was on the road to one. 10 years out, maybe 15, maybe 20, but I was on the road to disease based on all the dysfunction I found. And here was what was actually hiding inside of me. My nervous system was living in fight or flight full time. My cortisol was totally tanked, which in plain terms means I had no resilience left. I was running on pure survival and it felt exactly like that. My sex hormones were literally that of a postmenopausal woman. I was only 30 years old with the hormones of a postmenopausal woman. My gut struggled with H. pylori. It's a bacterial infection, dysbiosis, an imbalance of the gut bacteria, leaky gut. I had mold exposure. I had heavy metal exposure, and my minerals were so depleted, there was nothing left to run on. And I sat there and I cried, but not sad tears this time, like actual relief that there was some explanation for every single symptom that I was experiencing. The weight gain, the wired but tired, the puffiness, the bloating, the anxiety that never shut off. It was never 12 separate problems. It was one body completely out of balance, telling the same story 12 different ways. And for the first time, I had something I could actually take control of. And that is where my 7 steps to body freedom were born. It wasn't from a textbook. It's from my own healing journey. And I'm going to walk you through every single one, the exact roadmap that you need to get to the body freedom experience that I get to live today. Okay, step 1, eat for your results. And I need to be real with you about this one. For a number of months, I was so strict. I gave up the foods that were inflaming me. And the specifics matter here because nobody tells you chicken breast wasn't good for you, but it wasn't good for me. My body did better with high purine meats, chicken thighs, red meat. You'd never guess that from a wellness influencer. You only know it from your own results. And asking for help with this, the other part of eating for your results was actually asking for help. I had to ask for help from my husband, from my family to make sure I had options. That was part of my healing too, because remember, I was the woman who couldn't ask for anything. And let me tell you, food is the single most powerful tool you have. And I'll be honest, I don't work with women who aren't ready to use it. Because if you're not willing to do the hard thing for a few months, then you're not ready for the freedom on the other side. Step 2, sleep like it is your job. Nobody but my kids interrupt my 9 p.m. bedtime and my 6 to 7 a.m. wake up. Not an outing, not a date night. Never, because sleep is when you recover. It's when your blood sugar regulates, your inflammation comes down, your hormones rebuild, your liver detoxifies. It is not lazy. It is the work. Step 3, move with intention. And this one will surprise you. I gave up all cardio. No more HIIT classes, no more F45 style burning myself into the ground. Even if you think it feels good, it's probably because you're running on a cortisol spike, just FYI. I had been exercising with the intention of burning more calories than I was eating, and it was making everything worse. I switched to a strength training program 3 days a week and 10,000 steps a day. That's it. I now can sprinkle in some of that high intensity stuff because my body is finally resilient enough to handle it. And it's a type of workout that I like to do, but I would never do it on no sleep. I would never do it when I was not feeling well. I wouldn't do it if I was tired. I do it because I like it when I'm energized to do it. And that's how in tune you need to be with your body. Step 4, stress reduction, which really means I healed my nervous system. I addressed the gut and hormone imbalances that were physically stressing my body. I worked with a chiropractor and a pelvic floor physio on the structural pieces that were stressing my body, and I slowed all the way down. Now, to heal my nervous system and continue in that parasympathetic state, I actually take cues from my 3-year-old. Why rush when you can stop and smell the flowers? Why rush when you can pick up rocks? Why stay inside when you can put your feet in the grass? Nothing in my life is urgent anymore except being with my family. Step 5, supplementation done right. I do not take a drawer full of pills. I did in an acute phase when I was actively healing and my body needed so much support, but now it is a handful of things that actually serve me every day. Protein, omega-3s, L-glutamine, creatine, B vitamins, magnesium. That's it. Support, not a crutch, and certainly not the piece that I rely on the most. All the steps that came before that are what build the foundation that you need for body freedom. Not one of those supplements would work without the other pieces nailed down. And step 6, root cause work forever. I test myself every single year, the full workup, blood, hormones, gut, minerals, and I fix things before they even become symptoms. This is the part that separates feeling okay from never going back to where you are right now. You don't wait for the fire, you watch for the smoke. And step 7 is not actually something you do. It's where the first 6 take you. Step 7 is body freedom. So let me tell you what that actually looks like. Within 4 weeks of starting my healing process, I lost 12 pounds. My energy came roaring back. My skin brightened up. My hair stopped breaking off at the ends. My husband literally looked at me and said he had never seen me look so vibrant before. My drive for my work, for my career came back online. I got creative again. I got playful with my husband again. I rested. I recovered. I enjoyed my life. And in 6 months, we conceived our first son on the very first try. I had an incredible pregnancy, an even better postpartum experience. For the first time, I knew exactly how to support my body. We're able to move out of the city. We planted a vegetable garden. And then when we got pregnant again with twins, a full-term, complication-free twin pregnancy and a postpartum with 2 newborns, that was honestly a breeze. My business never had to take a backseat, not once, because I finally had the capacity to run my whole life and actually love it. I'm turning 40 this year, stronger, leaner, and happier than I've ever been. I have time freedom, I have financial freedom, and it all started with the foundations of my health. Short-term sacrifice for long-term body freedom. And that is what body freedom actually is. It's not a number on a scale. It's no food guilt. It's no food noise. It's no tracking, no choosing between the wine at girls' night and the scale creeping up the next day. It is nothing living rent-free in your head because you're nervous that the event won't have something you can eat. And here's a tip. If you aren't sure if your body has any kind of dysfunction, you're like, something's wrong, but I don't really know. Here is a very great tip and a great place to start. If you have any food sensitivities, now what does that look like? If you have digestive upset after any meal, okay, you can pinpoint, maybe it's like you can't eat raw vegetables or it's gluten or it's dairy. If you have any food sensitivity at all, you have gut dysfunction. Every human on this planet, unless you have a actual diagnosed allergy like celiac or to a nut butter, etc., every human on this planet should be able to tolerate all foods sometimes. And that is the goal. Body freedom is vacations without thinking you've messed it all up. No starting over on Monday, no falling off track because there is no track. It is doing the real work to heal one time so you can actually live your life. I spent 17 years helping women lose weight, but it wasn't until I healed myself that I understood there is so much more to this than eating less and exercising more. I am living proof. I built this body. I built this life on exactly what I just told you. And I want you to want it, not someday, but now. Because it is yours and it's always been yours. So if you're ready to stop guessing and find out what your body is actually trying to tell you, take my free metabolism quiz. It shows you exactly where your body is stuck and the first step to take. The link is in the show notes. It takes 3 minutes to complete. And if you want me in your corner, reading your labs, building your plan with you, the application is right there too. No pressure at all. I'm Michele Scarlet. My job is not to make you memorize hormone pathways or lab markers. My job is to help you build body freedom because when you finally understand your body, you stop fighting it and you start living the life you've been working so hard for. Because when you finally have body freedom, all of your hard work finally pays off. I can't wait to see you next week.